Hello friends, welcome to this new tutorial. Today I have here this LG Stylo 3, and the problem on it is the charging port. So today I will show you like 3 ways to fix this charging port. Okay, so the first way, we're gonna just work on the phone from outside. Hopefully we can get it fixed. If we cannot, we will have to open the phone and check the charging port from inside, and we will try to fix it. If we cannot, I will show you how to do the micro soldering and replace the charging ports completely. But whatever it works for us, we're gonna stop right there. Okay, so let's go. To do this job, we will need some tools. We will need a Phillips screwdriver, and we will need a nice semi, and we will need tweezers, and we will need toothbrush, alcohol 90 degree and up, and we will need, if we have to do the micro soldering inside, we will need this heat gun, and we will need this solder tip. First of all, we're gonna put these tools aside, and we will have to open the phone. Then we're gonna remove the battery, and before we open the phone and put the screws here, we're gonna just try to fix this one. So to fix the charging port on any phone, if you have like LG, Samsung, iPhone, most of the times these phones like got dirty here, and when you plug it in charge, it doesn't charge correctly. Sometimes you have to move the charger a little bit to make it touch in the inside, so the pins will touch each other, then the phone will charge. And if it doesn't, we will use like some kind of tools like this, and we will go deep inside, we will clean it. So let's do it. First we have to first of all, we will need to test the phone. So I have this charger connected to the power over there. So as you see, it's charging now, right? So when I pull this one like this, it will disconnect. It disconnects. Okay, start charging now. All right, so it's charging now. You see, it's 1%. So when I move it like this, it stops charging. All right, so now it starts again. So this is the problem. So what I'm gonna do now, I will clean this charging port very well and make sure don't damage the pins here. Then hopefully this solves the problem. All right, so clean this charging port. We're just gonna use the toothbrush and the alcohol like this, and we will clean it very well like this. Scrub it very well until you make sure that nothing inside here messing up with the charge. Alright, you're gonna keep scrubbing here until you make sure there is no dust. Sometimes the dust accumulated inside and it's stuck there, so the toothbrush not gonna remove it. So what you need to do, you're gonna use something sharp like this, sharp and very tiny, not thick one, because you need to go here inside between the pins and the frame of the charging port. Clean carefully, because if you use the force here, you may break the pins here, you may make them worse. Alright, you see what I'm taking out from here? So this dirt may interrupt the charge. Alright, so I'm getting more out. Always this is the first process before I open any phone, and make sure I clean it like this. if you see that your phone has damaged, you see here there's like a tongue inside. If you see that it's damaged or there's like some pins are bent, that means you will have to replace the charging port completely. I feel like this tweezers is thick, is not going freely behind this, so I'm using another one which is sharper. So now I will clean it a little bit more. Alright, it looks like it's clean. So inside the charging port here we have a small bracket, and it has the pins on the top of it. So it has like 5 pins. So these pins, sometimes the dust is covering them, that's why it's not charging. And now what I cleaned around these pins, and I cleaned them well, very well like this. But still I will have to use the tweezers and go over them like this to make sure I remove all the dust from the top. Okay, let's do it, but very gentle, okay? Okay, I feel like this because I see the dust here and these things. I think we're gonna like finish this video shortly. Let me see. So now I will put the battery back, then I will close it, and I will plug it in charge. Okay, it shows like it's charging. Alright, it's 1%, so let me move this one. You see it's still intermittent, sometimes it's charged, sometimes not. So now we're gonna move to the next solution. I was hoping to solve the problem just by cleaning it from outside. So now I will remove all the screws here. Alright, so I remove all the screws here. Now I will use this IC semi to pry up this. Make sure don't go deep because we have the motherboard. You see the green motherboard? This one, if you push this thing inside, you may break something there. You gotta be very careful. So once you lift up this side, you're just gonna go around it until you remove the whole thing. Make sure you open you take off all the screws that are holding this middle frame. We have the pen here, I need to take it out also. Alright, so we remove this part here. So now we're gonna go to the charging port from here, but first let's take the motherboard out. So this is the screen, the LCD connector. I disconnect it, and then now I will grab the motherboard from here and gently release it. So when I release this one, this small adhesive stuck there, I'm just gonna throw it away. Alright, so now when you see the charging port here, I'm checking these pins here. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do, I will use these tweezers and clean this from here, from inside. Make sure these pins are not lifted up or desoldered. They look like they are not desoldered. and from here, as you see this dirt, so I'm gonna clean here. One very important advice: when you are cleaning this charging port from here, we have the microphone, and this microphone has a small hole here in the top. So when you are using the alcohol, if the dirt or the alcohol gets inside, this may mess up the microphone. When you make a call, the other people in the other end, they will not hear you. So make sure always when you're cleaning here, cover this microphone like this very well, and then do the cleaning. So I will grab it from here. Make sure your hands are not dirty. This is just a foam that is covering this port here, so don't worry about it. Yeah, it looks like there is one pin. There is one pin here. It's rusty, and I think this pin is broken inside here. It's not going to the outside. From here, it looks everything looks fine. The pins are still soldered to the board, but one of the pins here, I think this one here on this side, it's rusty, and I think it's broken inside in this intersection here. So now what I'm gonna do, I will test the phone one more time. So I'm just gonna put the motherboard here, connect the screen cable, then I can just put the battery without closing the phone and plug it in charge. Looks like it's charging, so I'm just waiting to see the numbers. Okay, you see here 1%. So what I'm gonna do, I will move this one. If this one disappeared, that means we still have the same problem. All right, as you see, we still have the problem here. All right, so now I will still verify and make sure everything is all right here before I go ahead and replace it. So now I will check closely this part here, because I see that there is something here black, and I think this is one pin. I think it's rusty and it's broken inside, so it's going from here, but it's not connected well here. So when I move the charger, it makes the connection. When I like move it a little bit, it disconnects. And the pins that are responsible for the charge, as you see here, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So 2 on the sides, they are big pins, and the ones in the middle, they are 5, and they are small pins. So I think the charging ports, I mean the ones that are responsible for the charge, are the number 2 in this side and number 2 in this side, this one and this one. And we will have 3 pins in the middle that are responsible for transferring the data. All right, so I think because I see this defect here, I think we will have to replace the charging ports completely. Now we're gonna move to the micro soldering. So let me clean this area and bring my micro soldering tools. If your phone, I mean the two solution doesn't fix your problem, so you're gonna go to the micro soldering, and to do the micro soldering you will need some special tools. I don't know if every one of you have them. So we need this part, this part here to hold the motherboard. We will need the solder wire, and we will need solder flux, and we will need the solder wick, and we will need this to solder the pins, and we will need a heat gun to remove the old charging ports. Alright, so if you have all these tools, let's do it. I'm just gonna put them aside, and I will put this thing here to not burn my mat in the bottom, and then I will get the new charging ports, something like this. I will find a new one, then I will start. Alright guys, so I find the last charging port that I have here. By the way, it's working for the LG K20, for the LG Stylo 3, LG Stylo 2, and LG, I think for LG Aristo also. So I have the charging port here. So we're gonna solder this one here. Okay, so first we need to remove this one. To remove this one, we will have to put the motherboard here. All right. So now what I'm gonna do, I will grab this charging port like this. Then I will use the heat gun and melt the solder which is holding it in the bottom. I'm not using any force. Once the solder in the bottom melts, this charging port will come off easy. It's removed. So what I'm gonna do now, I will clean this area here, then I will install the new one. I will apply some solder flux. Then I will use the solder wick, this wire, and I will use this. I will have to clean the tip. I have a sponge here, and I put some water on it. Then I will clean the tip. Okay, it's clean now. So now I will put this wire on top of the solder. And this will suck the solder which is closing the holes here. Alright, so I will make sure that this holes here, let me zoom on it a little bit. Alright, so these holes here must be open, all of them. So then what I'm gonna do, I will put the new charging port. Make sure the charging port is flat here and all the pins are all the way inside. So now what I'm gonna do, I will solder these 4 pins, this one and this one, this one and this one. I will use this solder wire, and then I will put the solder wire here in the pin, then I will melt it with the heat, right like this. So I will solder the other one. Now I will melt both of them, make sure everything is sticking very well. Alright, so now I'm gonna move to the other side. Alright, so after I solder these 4 pins, now I will just put a little bit of solder here. Let me clean this tip first, but I will have to apply more flux in the back. So then I will take just a little bit of solder from here and I will apply it here on these pins. This thing here is anti-ramping me. I will remove it. It's not really important, so that's why I'm removing it. Make sure that the pins are not touching each other. So I think everything is soldered well now. So what I'm gonna do now, I will clean here. So I will make sure I close the microphone hole. Here is a little hole here. I need to close it. I don't want this slick white to get inside. All right, everything looks fine. Now I will put the motherboard inside the phone. And I will test it. But after we replace it, I'm pretty sure that it will work. Alright, so let's put the battery back. Now we're gonna alright, it's charging. Alright, it's 0%. So I'm gonna move this one. As you see, even I'm moving it, it's still charging. Okay. I'm moving it, it's still charging. Alright, so now it looks like everything is fine. So let me put the phone back together. I will put the screws back. Alright guys, so that's how we treat or how we fix the charging port on an LG Stylo. We can do this for all kind of LGs and Samsungs. Just sometimes you will find some differences, and that's it. So I hope that this video helped you to fix your problem. If it does, please hit the thumbs up. Also share this video with your friends, share it on Facebook, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment area. I will promise I will, if you have any technical questions, I'll get back to you. I will answer your questions because I'm always like answering my followers questions. And if you have even if you have different questions about other like phones, just feel free to ask. Put your question in the comments and they will answer it. Alright guys, thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Peace.